You rewind it almost on a daily basis.
I mean, you couldn't write that script really, could you?
To have Gillingham and then to have this is amazing.
For the 93rd minute, you know, it's just unreal. So the days and the weeks leading up to it, it was like, yeah, we can do this, we can do this. My name's Sharon Latham. I was Manchester City's club photographer. I worked for Manchester City for 8 years. And as a team, as players together, they were so gelled, they knew each other so well, and they knew how each other played and what each other had to do, and it was like a complete unit. It was really good. It was really cool to watch from inside as well.
The final week leading up to that game was all about the end of season DVD. By that point, we had assumed we were going to win the title. It was just an absolute gimme. My name is Michael Russell. I've been at Manchester City for 8 years, and at the time of that goal, I was the senior producer for City TV. I promised that in that week leading up to that game, none of us talked about what if.
We had to practice the trophy lift presentation the day before with the Premier League. My name's Oliver Hamer. I'm the matchday events producer at City. Started to think about how we could help the fans make a more memorable moment than it was going to be.
All we can do as staff, throughout the whole club is just do our jobs. The players have a job to do, and ultimately they need to be left alone to do that. So as long as we do our jobs behind the scenes and all come together to make the match day happen, then that's what it's about. I'm Lee Jackson, I'm head groundsman of the Etihad Stadium, and I've been with the club for almost 26 years. And to be fair, you don't really want to upset the routine.
I really clearly remember on the Wednesday before the Saturday breaking one of my cameras, and I thought, oh gosh, this is an omen. I'm really superstitious. I'm really silly, and I thought, oh God, this is an omen. So I had to hire a camera for the game. But do you know what? This is honestly, I honestly never feared that we were not going to do it.
It was a normal day in the sense that the team, we were going to be at the game doing something with our sponsors, our partners. I'm Steve Antrobus. I was Client Services Manager in the Partnerships Department. For this particular game, I had a particular job which I wasn't expecting to do and was also top secret. The top secret element was the fact that one of the partners I was managing was Umbro, and we had decided that if the team won, that for the trophy presentation itself they would wear commemorative shirts.
Every player really needed different things, so it was a matter of making sure that you remembered all the requirements, putting them out for each individual, all the staff stuff. Les Chapman, kit manager at the time, and being at Manchester City since 1992. Waited for the players to come, and then the mayhem starts.
This, Manchester City are 90 minutes away from winning the Premier League for the first time. From 8 points behind their local rivals to within touching distance of getting their hands on English football's most coveted trophy.
And we decided to turn our cameras away from the pitch that day and focus on those fans.
City winning 1-0, everything's going well, everything is going to plan. Zaba scores the goal. I think I stuffed up the music because Zaba scored and I wanted to play a song for Zaba, and I think I wanted to play the conga, so it's do Pablo Zaba later, and I think from memory I played Agadoo. All I remember is afterwards one of my colleagues turned to me and go, what was that? I was like, it was Zabaleta, and he was like, you're an idiot. I was like, all right, well. So I thought it was good.
At half-time, I've never felt so comfortable.
And the fans were brilliant. I just so clearly remember the fans on that day.
So at 1-0 up, I thought we're cruising really. We had the majority of possession. We didn't look in any danger. And then in the second half, it was a complete transformation.
Fine, they've got a goal, but there's 40 minutes to go. Back in my mind thinking, I cannot believe this is happening, and all the planning and all the prep and everything is going to waste. But more, I just thought, I can't believe this is going to happen to our fans. I just thought, this is too hard to take.
When Jamie Mackie scored the second goal, I have never felt more of a City fan in my life. I was so brutally depressed.
Well, I remember talking to, let's just say, a non-City supporting member of staff when it was 1-1, and I actually wasn't watching the game at the time, and I just heard this muffled cheering at the time, and I thought, that's 2-1 to QPR. And I actually said to the girl who was speaking to her, I said, that's it now, and she said, no, you'll do it. I thought, no, not a chance.
So I couldn't see the game, so I didn't even really know how many minutes were left, how much extra time there'd be, or additional time had been given. The guy from Umbro that was with me was, well, what do we do? I said, well, we'll just stand here because you never know.
I started looking at the fans because I'd been listening and being carried by the fans as well. So I kept turning round and taking there's a few shots that I've got of fans. And when that second goal went in, it was like, a lot of them were like completely despaired.
The thing that concerned me was the day before, we'd had the run-through of the trophy ceremony on the pitch on the Saturday afternoon. So I'd seen all the stage and the plinth and everything on the pitch, and I thought, I hope this isn't the only time I see it, you know, because you dread seeing it on the Saturday in the rehearsal and not seeing it after the game.
Selfishly, at that point when that goal goes in, I thought, what a waste of our time. We had worked so hard in the week leading up.
I think you have hope, and I think you kind of like felt like things were, maybe it was our time. I'm Karen Proctor and I was Senior Matchday and Events Manager. You felt like everyone in the club and the fans were sort of really willing it along. But yeah, I mean, football's so crazy, you can never guarantee anything.
I was watching Mancini, and Mancini, not a mega expressive manager on the touchline in every game that I used to photograph, and you'd watch him, he'd be a little bit expressive. But I was watching him through all of this and I thought, I'm going to stop following the game now and I'm just going to see what happens here.
When it went to 90, that was it. And I think I'd given up hope. Yeah, the fourth official put his board up, and I normally cue the announcer, so I'm like, okay, 4 minutes or whatever it was. And I said, right, okay, go. So that's the normal process, and usually wait till the ball's in a safe part of the field, so not when City are attacking. And he always tells me that I just said, go on, announce it. And I think City had the ball in a decent position, and and I just said, go on, announce it, as in like, we've got no chance. But he waited until the right moment, so I know that I think I'd given up. At that point, I was like, well, there's no way.
Realistically, this club has had a turnaround before. Gillingham doesn't happen the second time. It happens once in a generation. That result happens once in a generation. And they had seen it happen before. And whilst they deserved it, arguably more than many other football fans, I just didn't expect it to happen. So yeah, at 90 minutes, no chance, it was over. People were streaming out of the stadium, completely understandably. I'd have gone. I'd have gone. And when Dzeko's goal goes in, you could see a few people stop in their tracks because the cheer went up, but it was still too late. The goal was still far too late.
When Dzeko scored, I think that the whole stadium changed, and for me, that was it then. It was like, right, Dzeko scored. We can do this, because one goal now, we win the league. So I think at that point, there was a massive change in the stadium. 2 goals is difficult to get. You know, 1 goal, 1 chance is completely different.
I'll never forget him grabbing the ball out of the net and just literally running, and everybody just running back. And the speed that they ran back as well.
There's still hope. Together has been the club's motto. Can they produce it right at the end?
When the ball broke to Aguero and he went past whoever it was, he went past and he had a chance. That I remember that, and I remember thinking, oh my God, just hit it.
I seen the ball go forward and I'm thinking, is this going to happen?
Aguero, if anyone can, it's him. Back to Balotelli, it runs for Aguero! They do it!
And you see the ball at the net, there's almost a pause, not amongst the fans.
Nobody, let's be honest, nobody in their right mind would have thought that what happened was going to happen with the Sergio goal. But I remember the Sergio goal going in, and in my head I thought, it's gone in. And then I looked again and I thought, did it go in? And then I literally saw him running round. And as he was running round past Ed, my freelancer, I thought, yes, because he went straight past him with the shirt over as he took his shirt off. And I thought, oh my God.
Looking down the tunnel, and as obviously the goal went in, there was Simon and Sam from our comms team just jumping up and down and screaming. And then people appeared from nowhere, out of corridors, out of doors, and just rushed past up the tunnel.
I mean, you couldn't write that script really, could you? It was just it was a complete and total one-off. For me, the most incredible, probably 3 minutes that I've experienced since I've been at City, since '92.
The next thing I remember is being on the ground in the control room, so like all of us, basically like 5 grown men, are just rolling around on the floor, just going absolutely berserk. And I remember shouting to the graphics guy, goal graphic, and he normally is dead calm and composed, and he's a big City fan, but he was on his knees and he was just hitting the keyboard, just trying to find the goal graphic, and a vivid memory is just his hand going like this, trying to find goal graphic.
There were young fans climbing up the turrets outside of the Colin Bell stand, and I screamed into my radio for a cameraman called Matt to get outside the stadium, because no one had this shot. No one could have had this shot. No one would have envisaged the fact that fans had left early but then were climbing the turrets to get back in. And I demanded it. I remember saying, you need to get outside now to the Colin Bell stand. No matter where you are, this is where the story's happening. It was a group of young fans who were so desperate to see history. They had missed it because they had missed the goal, but they still knew the history was to be made.
It's weird because you can't really relax and enjoy it. Like you try and you're trying to kind of liaise with the guys upstairs in the creative room, like, okay, are we ready for this? Are we, do we know what we're doing? Because you've got to kind of get it back on track a little bit.
I cried. Oh. And it's bizarre because as you say, as a fan, you want to go, and run around because you saw all the fans, and you saw the reaction, and you saw the emotion, and you saw the bench, and you just wanted to get involved. But I knew that what I was doing was part of history.
Photographers had a pen on the pitch after the game to stand in, and it was actually part of our job with a small golf buggy. We had to drive all the barriers onto the pitch, and obviously with the subsequent pitch invasion we sort of got a bit lost with that, and I actually clean forgot.
I was allowed to go in the dressing room, which was an absolute massive honour, and again, because these are my work colleagues but friends as well, the players, so you wanted to join in but I couldn't. I had to be a fly on the wall, and the fly on the wall, it was just manic. It was just incredible.
Chappie was making sure they all had tops on, and then I was asked to make sure that everyone had their shirt on the right way round, and he didn't cover it. Probably half a team had it on back to front. Edin had a Bosnian flag wrapped round him. Well, do I try and tell these guys who just achieved what they have, I'm sorry, you've got your shirt on the wrong way round, or do we let it go? And it's not an executive decision. It was just carry on.
Once they finally came out, and obviously like hugely excited, they didn't have to be in an exact order, but a rough order. And they were just going mental, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And obviously I'm quite short, so I'm like 5'2", and they were all like pretty big, very excited guys, and I just couldn't get them to do anything that I wanted to do, which in any other circumstances I'd probably be quite annoyed about, but I could kind of let it go. Ultimately, in the back of my head I kept thinking, like, not only does this need to go well for the team, but this needs to look right for the fans.
To create the best content possible, you have to enjoy it and you have to live it. You don't have to be a City fan to do it. But my God, that day, every one of us for that brief moment were blue. And I hold my hands up and say I'm not one, but for that moment, it wasn't me being a blue, it was being a football fan. I was witnessing the ultimate football moment. The ultimate football moment.
It's very difficult to describe. It's just one of those fantastic moments in life that I was there and had a part to play, and I'm really proud.
We were in the dressing room, we were in the stands, we were on the pitch, we were in the tunnel. We were everywhere our fans couldn't be. Well, on the pitch they could be, and they got there, but we knew our job was to give fans an insight that they couldn't already get. And really and truly that the broadcast cameras couldn't get. They do an unbelievable job on broadcast, unbelievable. But what we can do is take people somewhere that they can't, and we were prepared for it. And we had all of the plans in place, but we just didn't appreciate that the story was going to be this dramatic.
I think it was big, and everyone remembers it. Everyone, globally. You say, where were you when you grew up? Everyone remembers. It's one of those things. It's, you know, everyone knows where they were.
I still get upset. A little bit. Sorry. Just great. Cameron Webby made me cry. I do. I've left now. But it's fab. Sorry.
I think the impact of this goal is symbolic. It's the moment where Manchester City says to the world, we are contenders. My name is Ferran Soriano. I'm the CEO at the City Football Group and at Manchester City. This moment is one of the biggest moments in the history of football. This is a legacy. You know, 100 years from now, somebody will be looking at maybe the 100 biggest moments in the history of football, and this moment will be in. So the moment, the way it happened, it puts Manchester City in the history of football. And that will be forever.
The story of Aguero's goal was told throughout the world. And as a result, if you wanted to come and hear that story, see that story, and experience that story, you had to come, as it was then, to mcfc.co.uk and to our YouTube channel. And we made sure that that story was being told. And I think that day set the bar for how we celebrate big moments as a production team and how we bring fans behind the curtain.
It's really, really difficult to understand how and why it happened other than the fact of sheer hard work. And the fact that everybody pulled together, like you say, whether it was a player, a chef, somebody who worked in the boxes, because all those people are relevant. Everybody's relevant, so yeah, amazing. And I'm a wimp.
All right?
Easy. Hopefully.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Cheers, Jack.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's good. We're done.
Woohoo! Are we done, Z's? We're done, Z's.